Remember when they told us it could never happen? That Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would never be confirmed as HHS Secretary? Well, tonight, in a vote that has Big Pharma executives calling their lawyers, RFK Jr. has been confirmed 52 to 48. But here's what really is interesting. Right before the vote, Elizabeth Warren, who's taken how much money from pharmaceutical companies? Well, she tried to block it. The same Elizabeth Warren who has received nearly $500,000 from health professionals. Professionals, right? Coincidence? And now, just hours after his confirmation, internal memos are already circulating through Washington. We've got them, and they are devastating. So let's take a look as the health establishment fights to maintain control. Americans are taking their well-being into their own hands. That's what I want to tell you about an incredible breakthrough in natural blood pressure support. This triple action formula uses clinically proven ingredients like white mulberry leaf and cinnamon bark powder to help manage blood pressure naturally. It's exactly what RFK Jr. has been talking about, taking control of your own health. Visit boostwithgary.com for up to 40% off and free shipping. Join the health revolution while this special offer lasts. Okay, let's get into it. Beautiful news today. RFK Jr. joining the administration officially. And here is what Rapid Response 47 posted after he made his appearance on Fox.
Do need a break. We are 4.2% of the world's population. We buy 70% of the pharmaceutical drugs on Earth. We spend 2 to 3 times what other countries pay for healthcare, and we have the worst health outcomes. We literally have the sickest population in the world. Those are the people that got us there. We do need a break. We need somebody different who can come in and say, I'm going to be a disruptor. I'm not going to let the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry run health policy anymore. We're going to turn health policy over to people who are actually concerned with public health. We are 4.2%
And there's one man who is concerned with public health, and that is RFK, despite what the mainstream media and the Democrats would have you believe. Here we have, this is from America's Black Hat 4 hours ago. President Donald Trump chastised Senator Mitch McConnell after McConnell voted no on RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. Listen to what he said. He just goes right after McConnell.
Even exist, right?
What's your reaction to that?
Well, I feel sorry for Mitch. And I was one of the people that led. He wanted to go to the end and he wanted to stay leader. He's not equipped mentally. He wasn't equipped 10 years ago mentally, in my opinion. He'd let the Republican Party go to hell. If I didn't come along, the Republican Party wouldn't even exist right now. Mitch McConnell never really had it. He had an ability to raise money because of his position as leader, which anybody could do. You could do it even. And that's saying a lot. But the fact is that he raised money and he gave a lot of money to senators. And so he had a little loyalty based on the fact that as leader, you could raise a lot of money. Senators would call me and they say, he wants to give me 20, 25 million. Can I take it? I'd say, take the money, take the money. But he engendered a certain amount of, I don't even call it loyalty. He was able to get votes. But I was the one that got him to drop out of the leadership position. So he can't love me, but he's not voting against Bobby. He's voting against me, but that's all right. He endorsed me. Mitch, do you know that Mitch endorsed me, right?
Well, he did.
You think that was easy? What?
He had polio, obviously, and
I don't know. I don't know anything about. He had polio. He had polio.
Are you doubting that he had polio?
I have no idea if he had polio. All I can tell you about him is that he shouldn't have been leader. He knows that. He voted against Bobby. He votes against almost everything now. He's a very bitter guy. And we have a very strong party, and he's almost not even really a very powerful member. I'd say he's not he's lost his power, and it's affected his vote. And it's one of those things. But in the meantime, Bobby did great, got more votes than anybody thought, and I think he's going to do phenomenally, just phenomenally in that position. And everybody else likewise did well. Not only well, they got more votes than anybody thought.
More votes than anybody thought. Well, we certainly are celebrating here at the Next News Network. Rapid Response 47, 4 hours ago, establishing the President's Make America Healthy Again Commission by authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America. It is hereby ordered. Yes, a new established Make America Healthy Again Commission by the order of the president. We must ensure our healthcare system promotes health rather than just managing disease. Yeah, we got to get to the root cause. Because for far too long, the pharmaceutical companies and big pharma doctors, they just mask the symptoms with pill after pill after pill. They never get to the root cause, the holistic reasons why people are getting so sick. Well, we got to get to the bottom of it, and that is exactly what RFK Jr. wants to do. And there's a lot of remedies out there that are suppressed by big pharma because they don't cost anything and they're very effective. So RFK Jr. is a huge advocate of this holistic approach to health policy, and that's going to make a lot of big pharma executives broke. And it's about time because they make a lot of money off of our pain and suffering. Okay, so this is the establishment of the President's Make America Healthy Again Commission. And we also have this. This is from Linda Trace. She says, "Who would have thought that 4 former Democrats would save America? Yet here we are." Yeah, look at that. They were all once Democrats, and now they are on our side because the Democrat Party has gone so far. And now we have Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, Donald J. Trump, and RFK Jr. This is the new face of America. RFK Jr. was sworn in as a 26th Secretary of Health and Human Services. Let's go to that historic moment right now and watch it together.
Allegiance to the same.
I, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
I, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Secretary.
And another Kennedy has taken on office in the federal government. It is a beautiful thing to witness. And you're watching history in real time here on the Next News Network. This is when he gave his remarks. RFK gave remarks in the Oval Office after being sworn in as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. I haven't seen this yet, so I'm looking forward to it. I really wanted to watch this, so I saved it for you guys. All these MAGA Republicans stepping up to the plate. RFK is one of them. Or as Rod Blagojevich likes to call himself, a Trumpocrat.
All of you, I want to begin by thanking President Trump for giving me this extraordinary opportunity. And I want to introduce my family and thank them for being here. My wife, Cheryl, my cousin, Anthony Shriver, my daughter, Kik, my other daughter, Kira, Catalina Shriver, Joey Shriver, Jackson Hines, and Amaryllis Kennedy. Oh, and I want to thank all of you for your support and throughout this whole 2.5-year journey. My first time in this Oval Office was in 1961, and I came here to meet or 1962. I came here and I had a meeting with my uncle, who was president then, where we talked about the environment. He was involved deeply, as we all know, in restoring physical fitness to this country. He challenged at one point during his administration, he challenged Americans to do a 50-mile walk, which I ultimately did. But I remember the day that my father completed his walk. We were staying up at Camp David. And my father came in after 18 hours walking on the C&O towpath with his feet bleeding and blisters on them. My father had one of his best friends was Al Lowenstein. And Al Lowenstein ultimately was a congressman from New York who was assassinated himself in 1980. But Al Lowenstein had started the Dump Johnson movement to get rid of President Johnson and end the Vietnam War. And at the time that he started it, people just thought it was a fool's errand. And ultimately, he asked my father to run for president against Johnson. My father wouldn't do it at that time. And he asked Gene McCarthy. McCarthy did it, and he joined that campaign. And my father ultimately ran, and Johnson then dropped out. So Al Lowenstein succeeded. And although Al Lowenstein was on the other side now, running against my father with Gene McCarthy, my father wrote him a note, a quote from Emerson, where he said, if a single man plant himself firmly on his own ideal and there abide, the whole wide world will come round to him. For 20 years, I've gotten up every morning on my knees and prayed that God would put me in a position where I can end the childhood chronic disease epidemic in this country. On August 23rd of last year, God sent me President Trump, and he gave me he's kept every promise that he's made to me. He's kept his word in every account and gone way beyond it. I'm so grateful to you, Mr. President. A lot of people told me that I couldn't trust President Trump. I better get it in writing. And we did a handshake, and everything that he told me he was going to do, he has done. And I'm so grateful to him. And I've told you before, I genuinely believe that you are a pivotal historical figure, and you are going to transform this country at a time when we see all of the indicia of democracy now in tatters in our country. We see the rise of the military-industrial complex, the rise of totalitarianism, these attacks on our Constitution, and this breathtaking epidemic that is disabling our people. President Trump has promised to restore the American dream in this country. A healthy person has 1,000 dreams. A sick person only has one. 60% of our population has only one dream, that they get better. President Trump has promised that he's going to restore America's strength. But we can't be a strong nation if we have a weak citizenry. If people are sick, 60% of our people are sick, 77%, as President Trump mentioned, of our children cannot qualify for military service. And we need a man on a white horse now. We need somebody who is willing to come in and has the spine and the guts and the strength to challenge orthodoxies, to stand in the way of vested interests, and to break institutions that have turned against our democracy. President Trump has shown again and again that he is that hero. And most recently, I greatly appreciate it, and I called you the day that you announced the termination of USAID. My uncle started USAID in 1961 for humanitarian purposes, to put our country on the side of the poor. It has been captured by the military-industrial complex. It has become a sinister propagator of totalitarianism and war across the globe. And very few people understand how sinister this agency really is. And President Trump saw that, and he stood up to it with a masterstroke. And we want to do the same thing with the institutions that are stealing the health of our children. We need a revolutionary figure, and you are that figure, and I'm very grateful for you for giving me this opportunity. I want to recognize some of the allies that I've had in this battle for a long time: Senator Rand Paul, Senator Ron Johnson, Senator Roger Marshall, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Buddy Carter, who've all been champions of the MAHA agenda before I even came along. I'm very grateful for you for standing strong. Thank you very much, President Trump. I want to begin.
You are witnessing history right there. Man, it's hard not to tear up watching that. But my goodness, wow, I'm so happy to see RFK, and I cannot wait to see the wonderful things he does with this Health and Human Services uh, bureaucracy, because he's gonna cut it down. The fat's gonna get destroyed, and we're here for it. But Senator Elizabeth Warren, she's just one of those individuals who took money from the pharma complex. Senator Sanders as well, recipients of donors. They try to play it off like, oh, it's just small money, small donations, but no, small money adds up, and that just means that there are many, many people in that sector who want to ensure that their gravy train doesn't dry up. So 21 hours ago, this was posted. Senator Elizabeth Warren just vowed to block RFK Jr. as HHS secretary tomorrow. Well, of course, she didn't. She was not successful. Senator Elizabeth Warren lobbyist payments exposed 125,000 from pharmaceuticals, 491,000 from health professionals, $108,000 from hospitals. Let's listen to Anna R. Matson breaking it down as she quote tweets Elizabeth Warren, who said that RFK is disqualified and dangerous. Let's listen.
Their data. Hey, Massachusetts, are you good? How in the hell did you end up with two pharma shills as your senators? Both of these senators have been very outspoken about RFK Jr., and we are going to do what we do best. We're going to see who's funding them, starting with Elizabeth Warren. But this is what she posted today. Say goodbye to your smile and say hello to polio. That's what's on the horizon if RFK Jr. becomes a secretary of HHS, and puts out this scripted video. And she even mentions how she's terrified of losing her fluoride from her water. But let's see if she really just cares about our health. She's received $491,000 from health professionals and $125,000 from pharmaceuticals or health products. Oh, and don't forget about the $108,000 from hospitals and nursing homes, for a grand total of $871,000 from the healthcare industry. And this is actually her cheapest selection out of all of them. And by the way, I always get asked where I find my data. This is Open Secrets. They do an amazing job. They collect their data right from the FEC website. The FEC website looks like this. This is where all the candidates have to report what they bring in and what they spend. And then Open Secrets takes this data and puts it together, so it's easy for us to digest. And as I was digging through all of this data, there's something else that caught my attention. I found this article that said that Elizabeth Warren condemned super PACs. Now she's benefiting from one. And this article talks about this Persist PAC. And at the time, they had no idea who was funding the PAC. But now we do. Carla Jerviston gave a whopping $14.6 million to support Elizabeth Warren for the Senate. This is her, and she is a physician. Not only did she attend Stanford, her father was a professor there for over 50 years. And to honor her father, she helped fund the construction of the new Stanford Medical Center. You know who else has ties to Stanford? Pfizer. Back in 2010, they gave a grant to Stanford saying that there's no strings attached. Put your hand up if you actually think that's true. I'm sure nobody. And the grant was $3 million to back new curriculum. But wait, there's more. Pfizer funded an independent educational grant program through, surprise, Stanford. How do all of these dots connect? Well, honestly, that's kind of difficult. As I was doing research, it is very clear that a lot has been hidden here. But this article may give us a hint. Looks like Stanford professors have been found to receive money right from big pharma companies like Eli Lilly. Why does this all matter? Funny enough, I think Dr. Casey Means has already given us the answer. She went to Stanford and was top of her class. She talks about how there was never a class about nutrition, about exercise. She simply learned a diagnosis and a pill to solve it. Because the minute that we find out that we can heal ourselves with food, think about whose bottom line is going to hurt real bad. So to summarize, in addition to all of the money that Elizabeth Warren receives through the healthcare industry, she also has some funny ties to Carla here. Do you think she's actually really concerned about him bringing back polio? Or is he just going to hurt her donors' bottom line? Let me know your thoughts.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So look what happened today. A Kennedy, yes, that Kennedy family just took control of America's health apparatus. The same man who spent years exposing what he calls the chronic disease epidemic. The same man who just said, and I quote, "I asked God for 19 years to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic and bring health back to our children. And in August, God sent me Donald Trump." Yeah, that Kennedy. The pharmaceutical industry stock prices are already plummeting. The health insurance lobbyists are in panic mode. And Adam Schiff, remember him? Well, he held the Senate floor at 1 a.m. trying to stop this. So here's what we should all be asking, and this is really important. What do they know about our health system that terrifies them so much about RFK Jr.? Share your thoughts below. And stand with the health freedom fighters, the MAHA movement, and grab your exclusive Next News gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and join the revolution.